Sex and Violence with Rebel Girl is presented by UFC Fight Pass. See the best that UFC Fight Pass has to offer on the Fight Pass 24/7 stream, offering a constant channel of historic fight action all day, all night. Tune in, sit back, and enjoy a network created by fans for fans. Step into our world. UFCFightPass.com.
Sex and violence. Sex and violence. Sex and violence. Sex and violence.
Hey guys, welcome back to Sex and Violence with Rebel Girl, presented by UFC Fight Pass, the show that interviews top-level MMA fighters and other experts in their fields about love, dating, romance, and that all-too-taboo subject, sex. I'm your host, Ashley Rebel Girl Evan Smith. Now let's talk about sex and violence.
What's happening, hot stuff?
What's up, my naughty listeners? We're back in studio. We're actually recording this a little early, but if you're listening every Friday morning, then I guess it's Friday. So tomorrow, which will be Saturday, February 25th, if you guys are local to Orange County, you should check out the Commerce Casino. It's going to be holding Up Next Fighting number 5, and I will be doing my thing again in the cage and cage side. Basically, they're cage side correspondent. I guess that's my job, my gig. And I love it. It's so fun. It really is the perfect side gig while I get back into the cage, not interviewing, actually fighting in the cage. And so, just getting to know the local fighters on a deeper level. It's the same stuff that I'm asked every single time I go fight, but you try to spice it up a little bit, come from a place of actually knowing what the fighters are going through. And I just love it. It's a fun gig. And if you guys haven't been to those shows yet, Up Next Fighting, they're new, but they're really putting a lot of work into kind of the pomp and circumstance, the entertainment aspect. There's always some kind of intermission where it's like a cool musical act, or, lately they've been doing a charity event where they are in collaboration with, this event is called Stop Bad Meds. I love it because it's a really, really powerful and important thing to be a part of. So, when I go to work for this fight company, I actually feel even better knowing that, they're putting on dope fights and good entertainment, but it stands for something more. And it's a basically public service announcement that lets everyone know that you can check your online pharmaceuticals by going to safe.pharmacy, and that's it. Just check your pharmaceutical drugs that you get online. You'd be very surprised at how many fakes there are. And if you check them, find out it's a fake, you could save a life, possibly your own. So spread the word, as well as come to a show, a live show. They're super fun. Commerce Casino. If you guys are gambling, or, if you guys are gamblers, you can go and gamble ahead of time or afterwards. And it's just a fun event. And this next card, let me tell you my top 3 fights. The main event, obviously, it's going to be a banger. That's Albert, the Belizean warrior Morales, former UFC fighter. He is defending, it's his first title defense for the featherweight championship versus another local guy, Javier Garcia. And this guy is a really, really, really good grappler. He's been in the scene for a minute. And so, no matter what happens, this fight is going to be entertaining. And then co-main event, I guess, would be Francisco Cisco Rivera taking on Chris, the Real Deal Beal. I don't know much about the Real Deal Beal, but I do know that Francisco Rivera never disappoints. He's slanging for the fences every single time. Actually, the last time I saw him fight was in the Up Next cage. He actually lost to Cody Gibson for the bantamweight title, but it was a really great fight. And I did notice that he had developed more into a more skilled, more patient fighter. So who knows? Maybe he's not always, just swinging for the fences, but no matter what, it's going to be an exciting fight for sure. And then Migran Arutnanyan, he's an Olympic Greco-Roman wrestler. I believe he was a silver medalist.
Awesome.
He's just a really, really exciting guy to watch fight. And I don't know who he's going up against. I think they are working on an opponent for him. And then lastly, I want to mention that for the first time ever in UNF history, we have 2 women stepping into the cage. I don't know these ladies, but their names are Brittany Victoria versus Mackenzie Jean. I know one of these ladies is more of a grappler. I think she's at Hayastan and then Hayastan MMA. And then the other one is more of a Muay Thai girl. So that's always a fun matchup.
I love those.
Yeah, it's, traditional grappler versus striker, and I'm always going.
To each his own fight.
Yeah. And so it makes for a good matchup for sure, especially when they're kind of green and they're, and holding nothing back. So I love that. So that's actually tomorrow, guys. Tickets are available at upnextfighting.com. Check it out, or maybe just go to the door. I'm not sure if it's going to sell out. General admission probably the last few times has always sold out. But if you guys want to be ballers and get some VIP tickets, you could probably.
Pretty packed in there.
Yeah.
It's pretty. It's angles in there.
It's good. Yeah, it's not a huge place at the Commerce Casino, but it does get packed in, and I think that makes for a fun time. So. Absolutely. All right, guys, that's all I really have to say right now. If you guys are consistent listeners, I got back from Colombia a week ago. And I was feeling a little nauseous. That's done, thank God. But I do feel a little not quite how do I explain it? Normally I wake up and I'm like, oh, good morning, and have pep in my step.
So you're just slightly lackadaisical.
Yeah, lackadaisical. Good word, Zol. And
it means you're not fully out of it, but you're like,
yeah, I'm not.
You can feel it.
Yeah, I don't want to say I'm out of it. It's just, after stem cells, they say everybody's different. And me personally, what I've experienced is the nausea for about a week or so, sometimes a little bit more. And then also, I don't have that natural energy. It's like my body's still kind of.
Well, you're having a battle in there.
Yeah, I do feel.
Battle. They're going to war.
And I can feel it, and I'm like, my body's starting to come back to life fully. But I'm back to training, doing physical therapy, which is very important. I just want to go right back to training, but I'm trying to be smart. And so, yeah, we're finally there, guys. And I get off suspension in March, which is right around the corner. So I'm so excited to just not talk about that again.
Shout out again to that website for checking your medicine.
Yeah, guys, that's another point. If there's anyone who should be telling you to check your meds online, it's me. Anyone can be fooled, and it's hard to spot a fake sometimes. And even when you're not trying to do anything naughty, you get tricked. So check your meds online, safe.pharmacy.com. And even the athletes, the UFC fighters, we all know that there's a website you can go to called globaldro.com. If you're a UFC fighter and you don't know about that website, you are in trouble. Yeah. But that's it, guys. I'm just on the road. I'm, on the road to full recovery. I feel fucking awesome. I will be getting back in the cage at some point this year. I can feel the UFC that they're calling very soon. So all I can really do is just keep my mind right and keep training progressively in a very smart fashion and keep getting ready for when they do call me. So yeah, let's get to our guest. We've got some awesome sponsors that we'll talk to first. But you know what? Before that, let me remind you guys, like I always do every single week, please support the show by going to our website, Sex Violence with Rebel Girl. It's always in the show notes. You can always write us an email at sexandviolencepodcast@gmail.com. It's the same. I really appreciate, even if you guys tell me, hey, I just wanted to let you know that, I listen to the podcast and, it helps me. That would be amazing. Any kind of feedback. Or if you don't like a segment on the podcast, I'm open to constructive criticism. So check it out, guys. Share your opinions and please rate and review the podcast. I say it every week, but it really does help. And we are going to full video very soon. I lost track of how many times I told you guys that, but your girl cannot procrastinate any longer. So I guess I'll say that if anyone out there, I have an editor currently, but we're really trying to figure out, if he has time for that and if, it's going to be a good fit financially. So if anyone wants to offer their video editing skills, also email that. that email, sexandviolencepodcast@gmail.com, and just let me know that you're interested in working with us. Okay, guys, let's talk to our sponsor. Okay, guys, let me tell you about our newest sponsor of Sex and Violence Podcast with Rebel Girl, EA Tax Resolutions. They are professionals that will help with tax issues and bookkeeping. Whether you're looking to settle your tax debt for less than you owe or have back taxes that you need to file, EA Tax Resolutions can help you out. Don't believe me? Check out their YouTube channel, EA Tax Resolutions, where they show exactly how they've helped clients in the past save thousands in taxes. Not only does EA Tax Resolutions help with tax issues, but with bookkeeping. Now, bookkeeping is commonly overlooked by small businesses, myself included, as not being the most important. However, this is very crucial come tax time. Instead of scrambling for receipts, all your information is organized and, most importantly, accurate. So, if you have a small business and you're looking for a bookkeeper, EA Tax Resolutions can help you out. And remember, if you want to learn more about EA Tax Resolutions, you can visit their YouTube channel, EA Tax Resolutions, or call them at their 800 number, 1-800-245-0596. Again, 1-800-245-0596, or visit them at their website, eataxresolutions.com. Today's guest is an American boxer, wrestler, aspiring MMA athlete, and history-making U.S. Marine Corps officer. She's also a United States Marine Corps Boxing Hall of Fame inductee, 6-time national boxing champion, and a 2024 Paris Olympics boxing gold medal hopeful. The U.S. Naval Academy alumni will soon be headed to the U.S. Olympic Committee's USA Boxing 2023 World Boxing Tour camp taking place at the U.S. Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, Colorado, from March 19th to April 9th. We talk about U.S. Marine Corps dreams as a young girl, being an over-the-phone sugar baby, desires organic meat cute, baby boomer mentality on Tinder, Cuban food and plantains, Hayden Christensen bisexuality discovery, 5-instrument musician, abstinent and its benefits, 7-year dry spell, sapiosexual, ain't nobody got time for love, and much more. Here is your guest, Stephanie Simon. Okay. All right. We are here with Stephanie Simon. I'm super excited. I have been creepily stalking Steph on social media for, I don't know, it feels like it's been a year or something. I don't know.
Something like that, yeah.
Something weird like that.
I was like, who's this famous lady following me? Like, what the heck? Who's this? I was like, oh, I gotta follow her back. She seems dope. So thank you for having me.
No, it's
Yeah.
Actually, it's unique because I usually just have like this criteria of guest. I'm like, okay, try and get someone with a lot of followers. It's, sounds like an asshole move, but it's obviously like, a business thing too. You want to get like the most eyeballs and whatnot. But I kept coming across your page because you were the perfect guest, in my opinion. You were like super entertaining. You did multiple sports, and I'm curious about your status in the military as well. I'm kind of like a dum-dum. I'm like, are you a Marine? Are you in the Navy? I saw some stuff.
You.
Yeah. So let's just jump right into it.
All right.
What are you currently, like what's your status in the military? And then also tell us a little bit about right now you're going for basically Olympic gold, potentially, right?
Yes, ma'am. So I'm currently a first lieutenant in the Marine Corps. I'm a reservist. So I went from like the active duty status, which is every day, you're in the military working in uniform, to basically like temporarily once a month doing the whole military thing. So that being said, I still am under I'm under the umbrella of in the service still. So with that, like for example, next week, I'll be sleeping out in the woods somewhere, doing an exercise and training in like the Tampa area. So I had to like mentally prepare because I have not done that in a long time. Because towards the end of my Marine Corps active duty career, I was on the boxing team, and on the boxing team, sleeping out in the woods and pew, pew, that's not going to help you by any means. So we didn't do any of that. No going to the field, nothing like that. So it's been a long time, but it's the name of the game. Even as a reservist, somebody that's only doing this stuff once a month, you still have to meet requirements. You still have to do certain types of exercises and training.
Yeah.
And for my college experience, I actually went to the Naval Academy, which is a military college where at the very end you can kind of decide between going the Navy route. So even though it's called the Naval Academy, naval officers and Marines come out of the Naval Academy, both. So I was crazy enough to pick the harder, crazier, just more intense branch because I wanted to, do the more physically challenging job,
Yeah.
which as a Marine, it's very much focused, on mostly physical, mental toughness. That not saying that Navy or other branches aren't like that, but the Marine Corps is like prides itself on that like physical aspect of things, and that's what drew me into that. So
Do you think that you chose the Marine Corps because you're like myself and you have a crazy wrestler brain and
oh yeah,
you like a challenge? So you're like, look, if I'm going to do something, I want to know that it was the hardest shit out there.
absolutely. I remember being like a sophomore, junior, and hearing people talk about the summer training for future Marines, and they were like, "Yeah, you have to have a 90-pound like pack on your back and walk for 10 miles, like hiking, but at a fast pace." And like they do all this crazy stuff where they do these obstacle courses, and they fight each other, and it's crazy. Like I remember hearing that when I was a lot younger in college, and I'm like, "This sounds great,"
Yeah,
like kind of
yeah.
like this sounds like this would be kind of a good fit for me. So, um, absolutely. I really do like that. Like I said, the physical aspect of being a Marine.
And was your family, shocked when you wanted to join? Do you have any kind of family background in the military?
So my dad, yeah, my father was a Marine Corps officer. Funny thing is that in my mind, from like sixth grade on, in my mind, I was going to be a college wrestler, college wrestling, college wrestling. That's what I wanted more than anything. And by the time I was like a sophomore, I was looking at all these different schools, but there's really at the time, there's only like five
Yeah.
because women's wrestling is starting to pop off over the past 5 years. But in 2011, 2012, when I was like a junior or senior, like there was not a lot of schools that had women's wrestling. So my options were limited. And because of that, my dad, the one that was a Marine for 20 plus years, he kept like, hey, you should think about being an officer. You should think about the Naval Academy. You should think about, serving in the military. This could be something great. The Naval Academy is one of the best schools in the country. Hard to get into. It's like 7%. But if you make it through that, the benefits and the things you can gain from that, it's like way, way more than you're going to get by going to a random school that you don't really know anything about, that you just kind of found somewhere online because it had women's wrestling. Like not trying to crap on anybody, but I didn't actually have a school in mind at the time where I was truly passionate about going to because I wanted to be at that school. It was just like, okay, it's got women's wrestling. Let me go.
Girl, you're preaching to the
And
choir right now.
yeah.
That's literally, I mean, I'm older than you. You're 28, I'm 35. In
Mhm.
2005, when I graduated high school and was going to college, there was 4 or 5 teams, and I went to
Yep.
Menlo College because
Menlo. Yeah.
I'm from California, and I didn't want to travel too far. It was a private college, which I'm still fucking paying off, but that was the trade-off, right? It was like go
Yeah.
to like the ding ding ding, like Cumberland's, Kentucky, Missouri Valley, or stay in California.
Uh,
And there was limited options, and it wasn't because I was like, I've been looking forward to this private business school my whole life. I was like,
exactly.
no, like I just wanted to wrestle. So I
Exactly.
understand
Exactly.
completely.
Yeah. It's like literally that was my mindset. It was just, well, this has wrestling, so I guess I'll go there. And then, after more thought, I ended up going to the Naval Academy for what's called summer seminar. So it's like a week where you get to go see what it's like. And I went and I enjoyed it. the very end of the summer seminar, they tried to like emulate what it would be like to be a freshman at the academy. So they got us all on a wall and they started screaming at us. And this lady asked me a question about some stuff I was supposed to know because they gave us a little booklet with all this information about the rates and the ranks and the history. And I remember she asked me something and I had no idea. And I was standing there, right? You can't have any emotion. You can't have any expressions on your face. You just have to stand there like this. She asked me a question and I said, we only have 5 basic responses we can use. Yes, sir. No, sir. I'll find out. I forget the other 2. I don't want to sit here and be like, I said to her, ma'am, oh yeah, ma'am, no, ma'am, ma'am, yes, ma'am. I said, ma'am, no, ma'am, I don't know, but I'll find out what the answer is to your question, And she just goes and looks at me and like stares into my soul. And she goes, you'll never walk these halls. You'll never walk through these halls. And like, my heart sank and I was like, dang, she really thinks because I didn't know there's one question that I'll never walk through the Naval Academy halls and that I'll never be good enough to be a midshipman. Like, that's awful. How dare you? Yes, I will. And so by the time I was a senior, I'd finished my application to the Naval Academy. I think maybe that whole incident kind of inspired me to be like, I'll prove you wrong, lady.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
for the jocks or I guess the more athletically inclined people, they usually get sent to what's called the Naval Academy Prep School. And it's a year long. It's about a year long in Newport, Rhode Island. It's really just like a foundation school to get your academic level, I guess, to like the baseline of what the Naval Academy wants. Because although I had good grades, I failed all my AP exams when I was in high school. I was not at the academic level I needed to be to actually go straight into freshman year at the Naval Academy because, a lot of people might not know this, but at the Naval Academy, your baseline courses, thermodynamics, electrical engineering, you have to take all these different leadership courses. You have to take calculus. I took calculus 1, 2, 3, chemistry, physics. And that is just baseline. That is not including your major. So they just kick your ass at that school. So if you are not ready, if you think that your 3.5 GPA in high school and your, honor roll, whatever, would be enough to get you through that place, you're wrong. And so I was so grateful looking back that they sent me to the prep school.
Yeah.
Because I would have failed out. 100% would have failed out if I hadn't gone to that school. So, but the funny thing too, I'll keep going. I don't want to stop. This is good. But when I was at that prep school is when I was like, I had an epiphany. I will be the Naval Academy's first female wrestler. And I will change history. I'm going to change history. I'm going to be the one. They will make a program for me. Yes, they will. I had all these really like unrealistic goals and expectations. And pretty much all that got shot down. They're like, yeah, we're a D1 school. We have a men's team. We're not going to start a women's team. And that's kind of how boxing like fell in my lap by accident. So we can get into that too.
So basically you initially had your heart in wrestling, but they were like, you can have boxing.
Yeah, no, they were like, we have boxing, we have jujitsu, but we're not going to start a women's program. There's not even enough women here at the school that are interested in wrestling for us to start a program. And so then in my mind, I was like, okay, so boxing, kind of heard a little bit about it. I also know that every freshman is another thing we have to do. We have to do wrestling. We have to do boxing as a class. Every freshman has to do 1 semester of each. And I was like, okay, I validated the wrestling class, duh. But I want to like validate the boxing class so I don't have to worry about it anymore. So the only way to do that is if I do this boxing thing in the summertime. Okay, let me just do this boxing thing, figure it out, see how it goes. I just want to validate it. And then kind of by accident, in trying to validate the boxing class, I ended up really liking it. And we had like a big smoker where all the freshmen were in a big alumni hall, like big room where, the ring's in the center and they just got all these crazy freshman kids screaming and stuff. And I fought someone that at the time was not the most popular. I don't want to call her the B word, but not the nicest. And, we were all kind of all over the place. We were young, like 18 years old. So, but she's awesome. She's a Marine and everything now. She's really badass. But it was like kind of a rivalry and we fought and went crazy, and then got that rush and had that like realization, man, I think this might be my calling. Oh,
That, that's
this might be my
awesome.
calling.
Yeah,
And that's kind of how it started.
I love it. Okay. So
Yeah.
it's such an interesting journey, right? You think you're going to do one thing and then life makes you pivot, but
Mm-mm.
it doesn't necessarily mean that that's not what you're supposed to be doing. So, and obviously it's paying off. Fast forward, you are a six-time national champion. You're about to make a run at the 2024 Paris Olympics, which is fucking amazing. I
Thank you.
won't I'm sure we could talk about that all day, but where's your mindset? Is this closest to the Olympics, that you've ever been? And when
Oh
when did you
yeah.
decide that, Olympic gold was a dream of yours?
So I can date back to the moment I even thought about the Olympics. It was at the Naval Academy, I think sophomore, junior year. Yeah, I had to have been sophomore year, 2015. It was right before the Olympic year, 2016. At that point, I had won collegiate nationals. So I've won three collegiate titles, three national titles. They're different organizations. You got like college, and then you have like the big time.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking of the idea of being a USA boxing national champion. And I thought, I might be like a star in the collegiate ranks, but I'll probably never get to that point where I'll be at the national champion, USA national. I remember that moment. I was standing outside thinking, I was like, that's kind of a dumb idea. Take a step back now, Stephanie. Like you're being a little bit too cocky there. And lo and behold, I transitioned into the elite level boxing at around 2018, a couple years after I graduated academy. And I was like, well, screw it. Like, let me give it a try. Let me try to do this thing. And started getting back into boxing after all my initial Marine Corps training. And by 2019, right before the 2020 Olympics, is when I tried to qualify for the Olympic trials. And to do that, I had to go to the Eastern qualifiers and place top two.
Okay.
This was my first elite level national tournament, and my coach couldn't come with me. And I went. I was pretty much by myself. He called someone to help work my corner, but I went there not knowing anybody. I was so unprepared that I didn't know that you had to wear either red or blue in the corners. You wear a red corner, you wear red
Mm-hmm.
and blue corner. So I had my freaking black trousers, my black tank top, was about to go in the ring. I was getting ready to like warm up, and someone looked at me. I was like, "What are you wearing?" I go, "What do you mean? What am I wearing? My He's like, "You gotta have red or blue." And so I like look for I'm like running around like, okay, they're selling them over here. So I go over there. This is like 30 minutes before I'm supposed to fight.
Yeah.
And I'm literally buying my uniform I'm supposed to wear for the fight. So I get in the ring. I do pretty well. I end up winning my first fight. And then this is really going to be cool because this is like perfect textbook rivalry. My second fight, I end up fighting this girl named Mo. She's the girl that I now am trying to compete against to make the spot for Team USA. So I first met her in the ring in 2019, right? This is a different weight class, different situation. And she beat me in a split decision, 4-1 split. And that's when I basically kind of accepted like maybe I don't have what it takes to be at this level. I don't know. Like, dang, this sucks, because that was the first time that I kind of, I don't want to say I got outclassed, but I got schooled up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a realization, this is a different level than college.
Yeah.
At college, some of my national championships were one fight because there was like two girls in the entire country.
Yeah.
You know how it is.
Yep.
And so that was the end of 2019. Didn't qualify for the trials. 2020 happened, crazy COVID stuff. And then 2020 is when I get an email about the United States Marine Corps boxing team. And that changed my life because the growth and development I had on that team, that's on that team is when I finally won my first ever national level tournament, like the real nationals. I won the National Golden Gloves in 2021. And then the end of 2021, we had multiple national championships in 1 year because of COVID. Things were like moved around time-wise. I won my first ever USA National Boxing Championships at the end of 2021. And then fast forward a year later, I won it again in 2022. So all these thoughts of negativity and all these thoughts of like I'd never be good enough, within a year or so of just life, I guess, uh, I'm now qualified for the Olympic trials and 100% an Olympic hopeful. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what the situation is now. I'm competing for that spot still. I'm currently, I'm not the number one, technically speaking. I did not make the, I did not make the team per se, but I will be back at the Olympic Training Center next month, and a lot can change. The Olympics is in like, a year and a half. So things can change, things that happen. I'm going to continue to work as hard as I can to just be ready. And I qualified for the trials, which will be in December. And we're just pretty much going from there. I can kind of tie in the MMA stuff as well.
Yeah, this is exciting because, I wanted to know exactly where you were at with boxing. But when we had our little pre-episode call, you blew my mind and said that you're actually thinking about a transition into MMA. But obviously now you've got this amazing Olympic opportunity in front of you. Like, what is the road now? Like, are you going to focus on, boxing for a short time and then make your MMA transition? Or will you simultaneously start training for MMA?
So I'm still trying to decide on that, but I will, kind of sprinkle in how this MMA thing happened. In 2019-ish, 2020, I discovered a MMA gym in North Carolina where I was living. And I started going there for BJJ and for MMA. And I really started liking it because the wrestling background, I also did Taekwondo for 8 years, 8 years. And then I had the boxing background too. So in my mind, I was like, why wouldn't I do MMA?
Perfect.
So I started training in it, starting to get really good. I was like, man, this is my future. In my mind, I was like, as soon as I am done with the active duty Marine Corps side of things, I'm going to go into MMA. And I want to get my first AMI fight. And this is all during the beginning of COVID. So while I was trying to get my amateur MMA fight, not only is it an issue because I was trying to fight 145, which for women, trying to find a 145 amateur female, especially in North Carolina, like good luck.
Yeah.
If your life depends on it, good luck. So I could not, for the life of me, get an opponent. Like I'm trying, I'm like, John Salter was my coach at the time, Bellator fighter. I'm like, man, just let me know if you hear anything or, can you call this guy? And he's like, yeah, I'll look up some stuff and try to see if we can get you something. And after like a couple of months, I'm like, man, I'm just not gonna get a fight. So let me just rethink this thing. And then in 2021, after I won the first USA Nationals, I decided, I was like, okay, I already signed with First Round Management. They're out of Florida. They're a management company. They deal mostly with MMA fighters. I was like, I already signed with them in 2020 in preparation for this MMA thing. It's time. And then, right, like started thinking about it some more, talked to some of my mentors, and they explained to me, which is a great point, that having an Olympic pedigree, having an Olympic background changes your life, especially as a pro, because there are certain opportunities that you will get that people that aren't at that Olympic status, that they don't get. They're like, we're not saying that you're screwed if you don't go to the Olympics, but if you have the opportunity and if you're number one in America, you might as well take that opportunity and actually go for it, take advantage of it, and realize that like this Olympics thing comes once every 4 years and you're right there. And so I had to kind of do an ego check, and I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm going to take a break from MMA and focus on boxing. And so that's what I did. But this whole time, I think about MMA all the time. Like, I love MMA. Like I was telling you earlier, I watched Chael Sonnen's YouTube videos and Michael Bisping, and I'm keeping up, The Ultimate Fighter, Conor McGregor, and what's his name?
Chandler.
Come on now.
Chandler.
Yeah, Chandler. They're going to be fighting each other and coaching. I'm like, I'm all, in terms of being a big fan, I love Charles Oliveira, the ultimate underdog.
Okay.
Like I love it. And it's like I said, it's something that I had planned on doing, but life kind of just kind of took
Dude,
me all over the place.
what a cool detour though, you know? And I totally agree
Yeah,
with whoever said that to you. It's like this is an opportunity that comes, you know, I won't say once a lifetime because every 4 years, but what, you know, like
right.
we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, you know, let alone in a year from
100%.
now, especially now that we've dealt with COVID, you know, holy shit. And now we got aliens coming. I don't know. You know, like
The
saw
big
that.
old egg on the beach.
Yes, like I don't know what's happening. You better just take opportunities while you can before the aliens, you know, fucking vanquish our planet or whatever.
And take
Yeah.
I started levitating. I'll see you guys.
Yeah. Okay. So I love that. And obviously I want to see you, you know, reach your Olympic dreams, but I'm very excited for your MMA debut whenever that is. And you're 28, you said?
Absolutely. Yeah, so not young, but in the women's, I feel like in the women's side of things, we can be a little older.
Yeah.
Most of us
I
are,
mean, I'm
yeah.
35 and I'm still rocking it. So I think
Hell
that,
yeah,
you know, as
sister.
long as you take care of your body, you know, and you
Right.
seem very smart. And so let's get into how smart you are because I didn't realize exactly your process when it comes to, you know, being focused and how you kind of divvy up your time. All I noticed when I was stalking you on social media was that not only were you talented athletically, but you could play the guitar and you were singing and you're very animated. And I'm like, this girl is a character. And I'm like,
Thank you.
when did she have time to be musical, athletic, and have a love life? So let's get into it.
Right,
Like, I want to know more
for
about
sure.
you on the personal side. Like, right off the bat, tell me what's your current relationship status, you know, single, in a relationship, whatever, and how do you identify sexually?
Okay, I'm singler than a Pringler, and I'm bye, you know, and sync. Yeah, yeah. How to do the cheesy way of saying it, but
Got it.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. So you're
Um,
single right now. I love that because it's, you know, the best person to interview. Are you
right, right,
currently looking? Are you so focused on your Olympic dreams that you're like, fuck anybody that comes my way?
right, right. I have not been looking for the past, let's see, 4, 5, 7 years. Um, and this is the part where you guys are going to be probably a little bit shocked. Maybe not. Probably not if you actually go through my Instagram and realize there's not a single person I'm holding hands with or being cute with. Um, I do not have time. Even if I did have the time, I feel like I could not give my full attention and like affection to somebody while trying to do all these other things. Because I'm now not only trying to get my career in boxing popped off, but I'm trying to also become like marketable in the real world. I transitioned out of the military where, you know, I'm still a reservist, but in the Marine Corps, you have a guaranteed paycheck on the 1st and 15th. You have stability, you have health insurance, you have every, you know, you have people telling you when your appointments are. You have people telling you where to go, what to do. It is like a very easy life in that sense. Now I'm a civilian, right? And I'm like, okay, so I gotta figure out how to make money. I had to figure out how to do this boxing thing. Like relationship, yeah, right. Yeah, right. I'm living with my freaking aunt and uncle. Am I supposed to have someone in like, you know, my aunt and uncle's house? No, you know, so
Where there's a will, there's
um
a way, Steph. I don't know what to
I'm
tell you.
sure, I'm sure. But yeah, I I'm not gonna lie to you though, and I'll be completely honest. Like I do sometimes get sad, and I think about like, man, it would be nice to actually be in a relationship with someone and to love someone because I am a very loving person. Um, and I feel like if someone were to date me, they'd have a lot of fun because I play 5 instruments. I'm crazy, you know. I am an entertaining person, but I also have like I have a heart. I'm like a teddy bear. I'm a fighter, but deep down, I'm actually like one of those people that's kind of soft a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna say I get envious and I'm like, oh, yeah, you know, fuck them for being in a happy relationship, but I do. I'll be scrolling, I'll be like, oh, watching a movie. I'm like, damn, what would that be like? You know, that'd be kind of cool. You know, if I could, you know, date someone and travel the world with them.
Yeah.
But realistically, like I said, it's just I just don't have the time, and I don't think I have the energy because I can barely deal with myself.
Yeah. And I think you and
So
I talked
yeah,
before how in order for you to have a partner, it would take a special kind of person, someone who
Right.
basically catered to your every need and was available when you were available, which is real sporadic because you do so much stuff.
Oh
So,
yeah.
I told you before, it's like that ability to just be like, hey, like I don't have the time, energy, or effort to give to someone is a selfless thing. And it's really nice because a lot of people just say, fuck it, and they give someone half their love or half their time, and that's not fair to anybody. So,
No, not at all.
when was the last time you had a relationship?
So I was in a thing in 2016, and I know you like entertaining stories, so
I do.
one other thing, a couple other things. I don't drink, and I haven't since 2016. 2016 was a big year for me, for many reasons. But so back when I used to party a little bit more and drink and have a good time, I remember after one of my collegiate national tournaments, I had met someone at the tournament. This guy was like super tatted, like he had a weird style to him, but he almost had this like confidence to him that I was kind of drawn to. So, I saw him, we started talking a little bit, exchanged numbers. His brother was actually at the Air Force Academy and he was a boxer as well. And after I won my fight, I went crazy and freaking, this was in Seattle too, which is like 2 hours from where I grew up. I grew up in Washington State.
Okay.
I probably should have mentioned that earlier. Born in Atlanta, raised in Washington State, living in Miami. But I guess, we had a lot of fun and we like were, I was blackout, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
That was my first time like being that drunk and I am not proud of it at all. But it was so bad that he ended up telling me everything and nothing too crazy happened. But like, he told me like, yeah, you don't remember? Like we were at the club, kissing and all this stuff. And I'm like, I don't remember any of that. He's like, yeah, at one point we were in an Uber and this guy saw us like, being physical in the back. And he was like, I can just drive to this bridge, guys, like down beneath this bridge and you guys can do your thing and I won't watch.
Wow.
And so he's like, and then we got out of the Uber immediately and just walked to your hotel because that guy was a creep. I was like, I don't remember that. He's like, how do you not remember that? We were talking. I'm like, no. And so he told me, and we were on the phone. He just told me this whole romantic, fun, great night that we had. And I'm like, all right, well, if all that happened while I was intoxicated, then maybe I should try something out with you. Maybe you're the one. But I have to see you when I'm like actually sober. So I know you also talked about what's the craziest thing you've done for love. So I ended up, we're talking, texting and stuff. And I was like, I want to see you, I want to meet up with you. And I flew out to see him for 12 hours. So my flight there and my flight back were the same day just to like hook up and hang out.
Yeah.
It was like the most ridiculous thing I've ever done for like another person just to see if like I actually liked them. And I thought to myself after that, things didn't work out, but I was like, if I was willing to do that for someone that I've known and met one time, what the heck would I do for someone that I'm actually in love with? Like, that's kind of a scary thought.
Yeah.
And so I think that was one of my first realizations that like, I'm kind of a 0 to 100 type person.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not careful with the partner I pick or the partner that I end up being with, I might like buy them a house that I can't afford or buy them a car and be like, I love you. Or, just something crazy. Like like I don't even know what.
Yeah.
At that time, I'm like 21. So I was still young and never really dated people in high school either. So I was like, let me just like not date people and not hook up with people. This is not going to be good for me.
Wow.
Not with my personality.
You could already just tell that early on. You were like, I could really get myself into trouble by being too in love with someone.
Oh yeah, for sure. And not like obsessive, like, I want to wear your skin. I love you. What are you doing right now? Oh my gosh. Can I bite your fingernails? Can I freaking lick your toes? Not like that, but just like if they called me or they needed something or they were like, oh my gosh, like I'm all the way out here. I gotta see you. And I'm in the middle of a training camp getting ready for the Olympics. And I'm like, okay, I'll make it happen.
Of
and
course.
I just drop everything I'm doing. I'm unfortunately, and no one took advantage of this, but I'm one of those people if I were to be in love, I would drop everything
Yeah.
to help that person. And something similar did happen later on in my life where I was very good friends with someone and it started kind of becoming more than friends, like not physical, but and then I started seeing those qualities come back. Like the person really wanted to talk to me all the time. Like we had like an Instagram conversation, we had a Snapchat back and forth, we had Facebook back and forth, we had text messages back and forth. Then this person created a group chat with me and two other of my friends. It was like started noticing that it went from, oh, we have a lot of things in common to now I could tell that this person kind of wanted to talk all fucking day.
Yeah.
From literally the morning, we wake up till night, and then I would just do it, even though it was crossing my boundaries and I didn't feel comfortable constantly talking to this person all day long. Like it was fun, but in my mind, in the back of my head, I'm like, this is not good because
Yeah.
I'm not even living my life. I'm not even in the present moment. I'm like not. I'm just rushing to my phone, rushing to conversations to speak to this person, and I'm not being me.
That's
And
crazy.
so
Yeah.
it didn't work out. It didn't work out. And I thank God,
But
but
you
again, I started
recognize,
falling.
yeah,
Yeah.
you recognize that that's a characteristic flaw that you have. Like, it's hard for
Yeah.
you to maybe not be a people pleaser because you want to
Yes.
make the people
Yes.
that you care about happy or, whatever it is.
100%.
I'm no
100%.
psychologist. I'm not, picking you apart, but it's like that's like usually not a bad quality, It's like it,
Well, it is psychology driven 100%.
yeah.
You were 100% right on that. And I grew up with, a parent that was like that. And I'm not going to shame my parents for that, but like you are programmed the first 70 years of your life. You're programmed to accept as reality whatever you're seeing around you. So when you see a people pleaser for 7 years and you see someone that's got a good heart kind of get walked over sometimes,
Yeah.
it becomes normal. And we as people, like we kind of resort to what we see growing up and it sucks.
Oh, of
But
course. I've definitely like
it is what it
forgiven
is.
my parents, but like sometimes
For
I'm like
sure.
going through my life and I see like a healthy, adjusted like child. I'm like, damn you, parents, I'm
Yeah,
like, oh, I mean, I
exactly.
forgive you. I forgive you. It's all good.
Exactly. No, exactly. So, um, but yeah, I know that I have more growth as a person that I have to get to, and I need to, as a fighter, right? We don't have a lot of time.
No, no.
So in my predictions, I'm going to be done punching faces, getting punched in the face, potentially kicked in the face, kicked in the head, shin, face, everything. By the time I'm 33, 34.
Okay.
And in my reasoning for that too is because I want to get into entertainment. I want to be on SNL. I want to be on shows. I want to be in action movies. And I love Ronda Rousey. And I don't know if she's watching this. I love you, girl, but the acting skills, girl, like facial expressions, we got to see them. And we don't see them from a lot of fighters. Unfortunately, fighters tend to be very stoic and very, oh my God, where's my son?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're, oh my gosh, this is bad, And I don't blame people for that. I understand. Like it's the different worlds. But for me, I feel like what I bring to the table is kind of like you said earlier. I do have that artsy performer aspect to me, entertainer aspect to me. And I want to couple that with being a fighter that's decorated, someone that can actually back it up.
Yeah.
And then I think at that point, in terms of relationship, romance, not saying that I'll just magically have time for it, but I'll say by that point, I'm not worried about the stress of being a fighter and having to train 3 times a day, having to diet, having to mentally prepare to get inside of an octagon or a ring. That alone is a different type of energy and a different type of stress that I truly don't believe any other athlete can understand unless they fight.
Of course.
Like you do not understand basketball, football. I'm not saying it's not stressful, but it's different when your life is on the line.
Of course.
And it's so hard to try to do that and to be with someone, like to try to navigate through that career and try to, date someone. Mm-hmm. So like I said, I probably do it after my fighting career.
I totally understand that. And a loophole that, myself included, and fellow combat sports athletes, we try to think, okay, if I just date someone in the industry, right? Like another boxer or maybe another wrestler or something, this person then will understand the sacrifices, the time constraints, the moodiness, but then that can be the worst case scenario as well, because when you have two people who have to be selfish, nobody has time for anybody. So,
No.
yeah, I totally understand. So you've just taken, I mean, is it safe to say abstinent?
Yes, 100%. I have no shame in saying it. You guys are probably like, she thinks she's a damn nun. Yeah, I don't.
No, I
I
don't think
don't.
you're a nun, but I'm impressed at the fortitude, the mental
Thank you.
fortitude, and the physical fortitude that
It's
it would.
only mentally. It's only the fortitude mentally and physically is only if you have the urge. And I guess by nature, I'm not a super like, oh, I want to, I want that ass. Like I don't think. I hope no one clips that, but I don't have like the crazy urges. I don't. I'm not saying that I don't think about that stuff, but like I don't have the urges. I'm not thinking like I
Well,
don't because of my personality.
I feel
It's
like
weird.
this is just my own experimenting talking, but like, okay, so right now, let's face it, you're in a dry spell, right?
Yeah.
But if there was a little bit of rain on the plains, like if there was like somebody barking up your tree, and then it's like, oh, and then you remember kind of like, oh, like what
Right.
the
That
wet,
was fun. Yeah.
like then you
Yeah.
kind of start to be turned on. But I think you're such like in like tunnel vision, like dry spell, that like you don't even have those urges, which is good. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
if you want to stay focused and like accomplish all your goals, and you think, being, oh, that sounds intense, but like being alone,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
like with, not having a partner is going to help you, then yeah, I would say
Mhm.
just stay focused.
For sure. And no, I can definitely agree with that. And the crazy thing too is that my mind is so conditioned in a lot of ways to just think about fighting and training that a lot of times someone will show signs that they're interested in me and it'll go over my head completely.
Really?
And it'll take somebody else to be like, girl, you don't see, like, you can't tell. And I'm like, oh, I guess so. And by that point, it's like, moved on, right? So
Yeah.
I don't even, a lot of times I don't even notice. And it's really bad,
So
but
what
I don't notice.
it, obviously you're a social person. Let's say somebody's trying to
Hmm.
flirt with you. You don't notice it. But what to you are
Right.
turn-ons and turn-offs? I know you're not actively looking
Okay.
for a partner, but what is something that undeniably is attractive to you, whether physical feature or characteristic?
Okay. Um, I really like intelligence. So I don't mean like Brainiac, like, Einstein or like something like that. But if I'm like texting someone and they sound like really dumb, I'm just like, oh wow. I'll put I'll put like an emphasis on something, like I'll take a stance on something, and they're just like, yeah, yeah, I agree. And they don't have a deep thought,
Yeah.
and they can't think critically. Like uh I want to be able to have a conversation with someone for hours. I think that's like beautiful.
Yeah.
If I can talk to you for 3 hours about all sorts of stuff, I'm all about it. But if you don't have the ability to take a stance on things and to think critically and to actually like have an argument with me or even have a debate, I don't have time for that. And then obviously, like, I like athletic men and women, like athletic build and everything. I'm not talking jacked, but I do like, definition
Yeah.
and what else?
Our last
It would
guest
be
said,
nice.
uh,
Yeah.
our
Go
last
ahead.
guest said, she was like, I like my guys to look like they eat a bunch of steroids. I was like, oh, okay. I
Ooh,
appreciate the
no,
honesty.
no, no, no. Uh, and I'll give you a good story. So my childhood crush was Hayden Christensen from Star Wars.
Okay.
And the first time that I realized that I was bi was actually when I watched Star Wars Episode 2, which I'm gonna lie to you guys and tell you that all my passwords have changed, but all my passwords to all my accounts used to be Hayden, and it was the year that Hayden 2002 because Star Wars Episode 2 came out. So I tell you, I was obsessed with Hayden Christensen. I was obsessed, but I remember one time just like go on Google and look at every single picture that there was, and then to go to the bottom and it'll say like that's it. There's no more pictures of him, and I get really sad. But I remember watching, yeah, good old Google. But watching Star Wars Episode 2 and the scene where that big battle scene in that arena where him and Padme are being cute and her shirt like gets ripped. I don't know if you remember that part. Like one of the animals scratched her and her shirt gets ripped. And she's like, ah! And then you can see her like stomach. And I was like, huh. I was like 7 years old.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, dang, Padme, that's cool. I don't know if I like want to be her. Yeah, I don't know if I want to be her or if I like want to be with her. And I realized at that moment, like, which one do I like more? Do I like Padme more or Hayden Christensen? But I honestly liked Hayden Christensen more. So that was honestly when I realized, like, yeah, I'm definitely not.
At 7.
7. I was 7 years old.
So you realized it at
Yeah.
7. When were you comfortable telling people publicly, or family members, or anyone that you felt comfortable with?
I was a junior in college. So it was a lot later. And then I told my mom, actually not that long ago, it was like 2019. And I have a good story about that too, the whole like parent thing. When I was, and the reason why it took so long is because I didn't feel like it would go well with
Be
my mom.
accepted.
Yeah, I was more worried about my mom's reaction, and I love her to death. And she's probably gonna watch this and be like, "You, how dare you speak of me this way?" But
No.
I think this is important for people, just because I'm sure people listening to this will relate to it. But I remember I was in 3rd grade. Was it 3rd grade? Yeah, 3rd grade, and I had this crush on this girl, and I decided, I was like, okay, I'm gonna write a love letter. And where did I put this love letter? I wrote a love letter, and I just like found an Altoids can somewhere in the house, and I put the letter in the can, and I just like left it somewhere because I was a kid, not paying attention. And my mom found it and saw that it was to a girl, not a boy, and knew that I wrote it, and she was mortified. She doesn't even remember the story, which is the crazy part. But she was mortified, and I remember the guilt that I had. I remember feeling like legitimately like, oh my gosh, this is not okay. Like, this is not okay. And then aside from that, there was an incident with a girl in our neighborhood where she like tried to like do something with me. Like she tried to like get on top of me or something like that. I was like a little kid, and we were the same age roughly, and I didn't know what to do. I was just like, awkward, right? And I think her sister or someone saw and then started telling everybody in the neighborhood that I was like a weirdo and a creep and all this stuff.
Oh,
So
no.
pretty much any time that I was faced with like, maybe I like girls and boys, something really bad happened.
Yeah.
And the mom thing, and then the neighborhood thing, and people talking crap about me, and then kids in the neighborhood not talking to me anymore because apparently that whole situation was all my fault. Of course, people are going to, like take the side of their sibling, but at that age, a very young age, I was conditioned to be ashamed of like who I was. And so, yeah, after that, I never ever considered, dating girls or, anything like that. I honestly didn't date guys either though. So like I said, like I'm boring as hell. I did not date anybody. And I think it could have, and is this therapy? No, but it probably had everything to do with my childhood. And so in middle school and high school, I was in jazz band. I was in marching band. I was in wrestling. I was in taekwondo. I was in the key club. I was in cross country. I was a football player. I was in track and field. I had no time, and I purposely did all these like activities and things, and I was always busy and purposely staying busy so that I didn't have any distractions. And I learned that again at a very young age. Just make yourself busy, distract yourself, and nothing else, that you won't have time for the other stuff.
Do you feel like you're kind of making yourself so busy and like running from potential like love to be corny? I think
before, yes, but now I do. I have a little bit more time and like in my schedule right now. I do have a little more time, but I think in high school and even at the Naval Academy, I think a little bit of that had to do with me just trying to not make time for other stuff. The academy, I wasn't just like boxing. I was a track and field captain. I was in the Glee Club where we traveled all over the country and performed, and like we sang at Detroit Lions football game, like all sorts of stuff like that. And then I was also in an a cappella group within the Glee Club called the Riveters, and we would do our own practices. So a normal day was wake up, boxing training, school, lunch, lift with the track team, school, track and field practice, boxing practice, Glee Club practice, then Riveters practice, which is the little. And then I start my homework at 9:30 at night, which I was taking.
Damn.
20 credits, 21 credits, right? Naval Academy's average course load is 21 credits. So when I tell you I didn't have time, I did not have time.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just like, I guess a reoccurring thing where I'm like, let me just make myself too busy.
Well, okay. So, I know you're staying focused, but just the lover and the person, I just love, and when I meet someone and you're already excelling on your own, like with the right partner, because I have a healthy partner and I had my whole years and I had all my crazy shenanigans. And then when you find a healthy partner, it like blows your mind because for me, in my experience, it was like, I didn't believe that you could be with someone and still achieve your goals and not sacrifice something. You know what I mean? And so I'm wondering with you, because I'm just like a mushy, hopeless romantic. I'm like, but what if, like maybe like online dating, like what if you just let someone know, like I'm a busy bitch, but I'll give you a little bit of time. Like, is there still hope? Like, well, okay. Number one, have you ever done online dating? And number two, no online dating?
Never.
I feel like it would be perfect because you could be like,
daddy request.
Oh, sugar daddy.
That's the only online dating I've done is, okay, I'll be your sugar baby, but I need the information for this transaction and not even physical stuff. Like they're like, just talk to me every day, have a conversation with me and give me attention and I'll pay you this. I'm like, okay, so what payment method are we using? Well, so I need to do this. I need to use this type of, I'm like, I've never heard of that. Yeah, well, that's the only thing I can use. I'm really sorry. And then that's happened like 8 times. So that's the most romantic type of
DMs
I guess DMs and online dating that I'm doing is those types of situations. So
right.
I understand what you're saying.
I'm just wondering if maybe online dating is in the future potentially, because you could be like only looking for something real casual, like started as like a casual thing. And then if that person is cool and understanding, like maybe move it to more. No.
Ooh, yeah, that's going to be a tough one. You're not the first person to recommend or to, bring up the idea by any means. So I've thought about it. I've considered it. And I don't know, maybe I'm hard-headed in that sense. But I guess in my mind, I'm like, I almost want it to happen the old-fashioned way. Yeah. I'm at an airport. Yeah. I'm at an airport. I'm like, oh, sorry. And we look at each other and we're like, hey. And then it's like a High School Musical or something. We start dancing. Yeah. And then from there I get married. No, but I want it to happen naturally, but I think the new naturally is not what it used to be because we're in a cyber world now. You know how it is. So I think in my mind, I almost have a baby boomer instinct to think that online dating is like that's for weirdos.
That's for them young kids.
It's not. Yeah, it's for them young kids. Gen Z, millennials. I think that's probably. I'm a progressive person, but when it comes to that, I'm pretty not progressive in that sense. So, yeah, I think that I need to revisit some of these things. I guess.
Why not? You know, maybe we'll not see. On like the fuck buddy apps or whatever, but I know some of them are more legit than others, just I'm always just I'm like, put yourself out there, girl, but also stay focused,
yeah Christian Mingle. No. Yeah, I would not be a good candidate for that one, but anyway.
So I know you are abstinent, but if you were seeing someone, do you believe in abstaining from sex before competition? Is that something that you've ever practiced in the past?
before competition?
Yeah, because everyone, especially with boxers, it's like the kind of old myth of like sex the night before makes your legs weak and whatever. And there's some guys that say that, they do notice the effects after they come and,
Yeah.
testosterone levels are lower and whatnot. For females, we usually, statistically, I've been doing this podcast for 2 years and
Okay.
99% of the females say that it helps them. We're more relaxed. It's a release of serotonin, all the happy chemicals and whatnot.
Right.
What's your take on that?
I usually don't like to deal with people. I don't like to be around people a lot before competitions. I think personally, it would not be a good thing for me. Like even when I'm like traveling with the team, I like to have my own room, sleep in my own bed. I do my own thing, and I don't like to be around people. I like to meditate and pray. And I remember the last time I did have a roommate before a tournament, it like gave me anxiety because I had another person there, and even though they cared about me and we were friends, like nothing wrong with that, but I kept feeling like, okay, do they see me being weird and like singing to myself and dancing and like praying and meditating? Like, is this? I kept thinking and worrying about the person and not being in my own little world. And for me, I need to be in my own world before I go fight and compete. So honestly, I don't think it'd be good for me.
You seem
But I
like
don't know.
you seem like someone who really needs her space, like when
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
do find that person, who whatever they
Hmm.
do, it seems like that's something no matter what that you because I'm a clingy bitch. I'm codependent as fuck. Like I'm like, babe, where you at? Babe, where you at? But
Right,
that's
right.
not everyone. And it sounds like you need to be with someone who allows you your space and who isn't all over you all the time. Like that seems like a
Yeah,
very important factor for success in a relationship for you.
for sure. No, that's a great point. And I think about it now, and I'm like, not that I don't love my family, and that not that I don't love people, but I don't FaceTime people hardly at all. I'm talking like once a month. I don't frequently call or talk to. I'm not like regularly talking to people unless I'm sending my Wordle. You know what Wordle is?
No. What's
It's
that?
like an online game, and you have to figure out a word. I'll like send someone like that I got the word right. I'll send a group chat that every day. But I don't have constant communication and like a constant narrative or a storyline or like a it has I don't have that continuity with people. And I don't know if that's just my personality or if I'm just like kind of cold-hearted a little bit sometimes, but I think having space is very important to me. I think you're right. I don't like to constantly bombard people and be in
Dude,
people's
you
stuff,
you
and I don't
just
want them to be in my stuff.
it sounds
Yeah,
like you thrive when you stay in your own lane. And there's nothing wrong
yeah,
with that. And it's not like you're some super sad person, it's
yeah,
you just
yeah. Or
understand
am
that
I?
hopefully not.
Or am I? No, 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 no,
But
no, no.
to me it just seems like you understand your personality traits and you know
Yeah,
that not being in a relationship is going to get you to your goals faster. And for me, like, say no more, say less. Like,
yeah,
that's all that matters. I'm a very goal driven person. And if my partner was impeding me from reaching those goals, he knows that he would be the first out the door. Because who
you're
are we?
gone.
Yeah, like, who are we without these goals? Like, I don't want to
Yeah,
just be someone's girlfriend or just, like, I think
absolutely.
for me and my goals, that basically for me it's like that's who I am, that's my legacy, that's that's how people are going to remember me, and that's important to me.
Absolutely, absolutely. And time management, and we talked about this where, I'll be sometimes in my room trying to learn a song on the guitar, trumpet, or something like that for like 2 hours, and I go crazy, all for just one story on Instagram. And it's like we talked about earlier, I know my personality, and it would be difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it would be difficult to be fully like committed to somebody without kind of like putting boxing or training or those goals a little bit to the side. Not that I can't compromise with people, but I do like to like if I have a goal or if I have a plan or a vision, I like to like go for it. But then if I have to, you know, work it out with somebody, well, I don't want to live there. Or, oh man, but you'll be gone for 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Yeah, I'll be gone for 8 weeks. What? What do you? What? What? excuse me?
Yeah,
Like,
this
I
is
gotta go train.
not the fun
Like, I gotta go
side
yeah,
of
it's not
relationships,
fun.
the
Oh yeah,
compromise and whatnot.
yeah.
Definitely having to let someone. I'm a very independent woman, and to be
Hmm.
in a healthy relationship where hey, I'm going here. Hey, like it feels not independent. I'm like, I'll do what I want, but then I'm like,
Exactly.
damn it, I love you, so I gotta tell you what
Fine.
I'm doing, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. No, it's true. It's true. But
Well,
yeah.
I honestly, even as crazy as it sounds, and I could never do it myself, I really respect that you understand the way your brain works. You understand you have a
Hmm.
short window for the goals that you have set for yourself, and nothing's going to get in the way, not even love. And I love that, girl. I love that so much.
Thank you.
Let's
Thank you.
end this show with two fun segments. One is a game of Fuck, Marry, Kill, and the last
Oh
is just
gosh.
some fan questions that we pulled from online.
Fuck one, marry one, kill one. Go. I think we're done here. Done here. Done.
Okay. Oh boy.
All right, so
Okay,
fuck.
keep in mind, you guys. Hold on. Pause. You all know I didn't say it earlier, but I'm still in the military and still a Marine.
Yes.
So I had to be careful. I have young Marines that watch me, that watch what I'm doing. And I've also been in trouble before for social media misconduct because sometimes I get a little excited and I say things and call people out and I shouldn't. So just it's gonna be the PG-13 version. Don't be disappointed. I'm sorry. I had to let that go. But
And
yeah.
I understand, and now that you and I have
Yes,
talked,
yes.
like obviously, like I'm holding back from asking certain questions because
I know, I
I
know.
respect the situation that you're in, and I can't imagine what it's been like. I feel like you've been in some kind of military scenario since you were 18, right? So
Yep.
fucking
10 plus
decade
years.
of being
Yeah.
in a male dominated, industry where, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. I've been in MMA for a very long time, and sometimes females get the short end of the stick, but I imagine you got an
Yeah.
even shorter end of the stick in the military. But we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. For sure. All right, I'm ready. I'm
All right,
ready.
this game is really fun. We're not really trying to kill anybody. It's just a fucking game, guys. But I'm gonna
Okay.
give her three names, and she's gonna tell me out of those three names who she would fuck, who she would marry, and who she would kill. Now we didn't want to get you in trouble, so we stayed away from military people. But we're like, all right, here's some boxers
And presidents.
and presidents. Oh god,
They're
yeah.
presidents.
Okay. You have Andre Ward, Roy Jones Jr., and Oscar De La Hoya. You gotta choose from fuck, marry, kill.
I'm killing Oscar De La Hoya because he got ab implants. I can't do that.
He has what?
Those are implants.
Oh yeah.
Ab implants.
He did he
We're
really?
not- yes, the man is constantly in the flexed. Yeah, well, nothing wrong with cross dressing. That's cool. I'm down for that. But it's the ab implants that you're gone, Oscar. I'm sorry.
That's real. He really did get ab implants.
Yes, you have to look it up later. It's hilarious. I looked at the picture. I'm like, okay, there's no definition anywhere here. Your arms look like an old man's arms, but then out of nowhere, you have a six pack, and it's not moving because your abs, when you breathe,
Yeah.
they flex and they don't flex, right? I guess I don't know the word is that. His are always flexed, and he's moving around. I'm like,
Stop.
dude, this is bad. But anyway, yeah, he's gone.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Okay.
I'd marry Andre Ward. I'd marry Andre Ward, and then I guess me and Roy are
You're banging
Yeah.
Roy Jones
I guess,
Jr.
yeah.
All right.
yeah
Well, thank you for playing.
in that game. Okay, that was the only one. Okay,
That's the only game we're gonna play. And before,
cool.
so for everyone who listens to the show, they know that this is the point where I ask you to tell us like all your social media handles.
Okay.
What should people look out for? I know you're training. You have a camp coming up at the Colorado Training
Mm-hmm.
Center. I don't know if people can follow along. Like, anything else you want to plug it right now before we head over to the
Okay.
UFC Fight Pass platform.
Okay. Steph Simon 94, STEPHSIMON 94. That's TikTok and Instagram.
Guys, before let
And
me stop
then-
real quick because
Okay.
we didn't get a chance to talk about like the acting or I know you play 5 instruments, but guys, follow this woman. She's so fucking funny.
I prepared for this. I'll end with a song. I'll sing for you guys at the very end. But yes.
Perfect. Okay. It's great.
Yeah, so my Now, I will say too that I am trying to make a shift on my social media to be a little bit more serious, a lot more serious, just because I'm trying to freaking get sponsored. And I know I have the resume and the story, but I don't have like companies will look at my page and be like, what is going on? Like, you're wearing a wig in that video, you're playing the trumpet in that video. I think you're a Marine. Like, what do you do? Why are you dressed up like Kamala Harris, and why are you dancing in heels, but jump roping in heels too? So I have so much random stuff on my page. For those of you that, look it up,
But
it's
I don't
good
think
stuff.
I
It's good
think
stuff.
honestly, this is my 2 cents, and we talked briefly about this when we spoke on the phone. But it's like you're doing everything that other people are scared to do. Like you're being authentic and real and goofy, and I think all you maybe should do is just take a couple legit photo shoots where like where you're not goofy, because you're beautiful.
For sure.
You're beautiful, Steph.
Thank
And
you.
I just don't think that you have time because you're so fucking busy playing 27 instruments and 27 sports and whatnot. But a couple girly photo shoots.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
please don't stop being the real, funny, authentic you, because that's what got my attention. I was like, this chick is fucking hilarious. And I didn't care
Thank
how many
you.
followers
Thank you.
you had. I didn't care that you didn't have one of these girly photo shoots. Like, whatever you do, just keep putting the good content out.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out and balance it for sure. And I don't want people to be like, "Oh, you changed. Look at you, not smiling anymore, looking all serious." But yeah, I'm getting a lot of help with, like I said, getting better like footage and a lot of good stuff's coming out. So follow me. I promise you will not be disappointed. I have an amazing photographer, videographer that I'm working with. And we shot 11 hours of content on Monday. 11 hours. I switched outfits like 10 times to like make it look like I was there different days and stuff, because I basically wanted to get in one shot and one shoot like a month of different I guess like material and content. So like
yeah.
I'm working really hard on that. And then my YouTube is Stephanie Simon 123, and on there you have all sorts of videos. I've been putting up more shorts, more videos on my covers. I do a lot of music covers. I cover a lot of different songs and artists, and those are like one of the things I love to do the most. I have what's called a loop pedal, which is like a little machine where you sing into it and you can press the machine and then it plays the loop over and over again. And so I harmonize with myself, and then I can make a beat and then have the melody. So I basically make a one-person band. So these are things that, like, I promise you guys, no other fighter's doing this stuff. So, hey, when I make it, because I will, I feel like it's going to be cool to be able to mix all that into my fighting persona and everything. Like, kind of like the duality of the artist's more vulnerable side and like person that's knocking heads. So
I think
that's
honestly, Steph, you will make it. I think obviously you've been successful in pretty much everything you put your mind to. And so it's only a matter of time before I see you explode on the MMA scene. And I'm excited because we don't have a lot of characters like you who are fucking super skilled and who can, play the instrument and be super, silly and do some skits and whatnot. So I think that when you have the platform of MMA, because it's so fucking popular right now, and I'm grateful for that, like mixed with your personality, you're going to explode. And I will be like, I found her first. I found her first.
No,
be your
honestly, I
agent.
will say this. I when I saw your podcast and I saw who you were, I thought to myself, she'll probably interview me when I'm like in the UFC, or I'm like eventually, actually legit and have followers. She'll probably interview me later on the road. For now, we'll follow. I did not think that you would be willing to speak to me with freaking 4,000 followers in my uncle's house. So I'm like, this is cool, man. Wait till I freaking tell my mom. Guess what? So I appreciate that so much, and for you believing in me, and for all the positivity. And
Yeah, no worries, girl.
I won't let y'all down.
All right, that's it for episode 131. Ep.131 with Steph Simon. I knew that was going to be a great guest. I just had a feeling, and I'm really happy that I just branched out and just asked a random person because it's hard to find someone with a buttload of followers and, you know, with a huge name, and then also they have to be comfortable talking about sex, and maybe they're in camp, and it's just hard sometimes to find good guests. And I find that it's not always the guest with the most followers that has the best stories or is the most inspirational or even the most entertaining. So I was not disappointed with Steph. And again, like I tell you every week, UFC Fight Pass is the world's premier combat sports streaming service with over 200 live events, the largest fight library in existence, original shows, and more. Sign up for 1 year and get half off for a limited time at ufcfightpass.com/sign up. Okay, next week, I am very excited about this guest. It's been a minute since we've had a male on. So, all right, ladies, here is a guy, a male guest. We have Alex Caceres, a.k.a. Bruce Leroy. He has been in the UFC for a minute now. He has 34 pro fights. He's been professional since 2008 and is currently number 15 in the UFC featherweight rankings. Very, very excited to talk to him. He was on a 5-fight win streak until pretty recently. I think he forget who he lost to. But now he's back in the win column again. But yeah, I just remember thinking like, damn, he lost a couple and then came back and went on like a tear, like a 5-fight tear. And now he's like lost one, won one. And I'm just excited to talk to him. He is a fellow plant-based eater, which if you guys don't know that about me, then I guess I've done a good job of not talking about veganism. So I guess vegans and plant-based people, we are notorious for letting you know that we are plant-based. But yeah, I'm excited to talk to him about that because there's not a lot of MMA fighters that are plant-based, so it's kind of an interesting topic. And of course, we'll talk about sex, violence, and everything in between. Stay tuned for that one, guys. Thank you so much for all your fan questions, for always tuning in, and for supporting the podcast by buying merch at our website, sexviolencewithrebelgirl.com, by sending us all of your guest suggestions or just sending emails, and that is sexandviolencepodcast@gmail.com. Thank you so much, guys. And lastly, any of you guys who subscribe to my exclusive content site, that really, really helps out, and I'm just grateful that that is doing so well, because then I can put more time into podcasting and cranking out more content for you guys, training and getting back in the cage, physical therapy, and all the other stuff that I need to do, because that site is doing well. If you want to check it out, it's ashleyrebelgirl.com. Over 18. It is the naughty site, so check that out, guys. And lastly, please rate and review this show, or just send it to a friend, because word of mouth is definitely the best marketing. I love you guys. Thank you so much. And a special thank you to DJ Zoll at DJ Zoll on Instagram, Tomorrow Kids Studios at Tomorrow Kids Official, and you can always find us on Instagram at Sex and Violence with Rebel Girl, all spelt out, and myself at Ashley MMA, both of which were shadow banned recently. I'm not sure what we did. I mean, we're always in trouble, but that was interesting. Normally it's just the Sex and Violence page that gets shadow banned, but your girl, my personal page, was shadow banned too. So I don't know, always on the shit list. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'll talk to you next week with a new guest and more tales of sex and violence. Bye.